Hi, today in this video I'm going to discuss about some of the AI use cases in finance. Now, use of data analytics is in finance is not new. It's been in use for a very long time. Even in 1920s and 30s, companies used to use data analytics, especially the insurance company in the field of finance used to use data and analytics. Later on, there was popularity of computing, especially after the Second World War. IBM playing the big role there, AT&T Lab, Bell Lab, uh, those institutions actually produce large scale computing power, and many finance companies such as the insurance firms and the banks started using computers, and use of data became very popular, right? More recently, especially in the last 20 years, we've seen the use of machine learning in the field of finance. But for the last few years, maybe about 3 to 4 years, ever since ChatGPT or the LLM models have become popular, people are now exploring the use of modern AI in the field of finance. Now we're going to discuss a few use cases. Let me also start with a disclaimer. A lot of these use cases are still in infancy, still in explorative phase. That means people are exploring, and for many of these cases, we do not have a real world use cases. So I will, I'll talk about that as well. What are the challenges faced by practitioner, right? Okay, so let's start with perhaps the most important area within the banking and financial service world where data is used, that is risk management, but also in detecting fraud and compliance, these kind of activities. Now you see real-time fraud detection happening in various forms, such as in credit card, companies issuing credit card, banks issuing credit card, the likes of Visa and MasterCard. They're using it on a daily basis. American Express is using it on a daily basis. In the past, there used to be statistical model built and implemented and reviewed and monitored, and it wasn't really automated. I mean, there was data analytics, no doubt, but more recently, these companies are exploring automated way of detecting fraud in various financial transactions. Credit scoring, it's still manually done, by the way, right? AI is not playing a big role in credit scoring as of today, but that's something people are exploring, especially the fintech firms which are not regulated by many financial regulator. Well, they are regulated, but they're not as regulated as the large banks and large NBFCs are. So, fintech firms are using AI for credit scoring purpose. Although there are some restriction there as well from the regulator, where things can be used, where AI can be used, and where AI can't be used. But they're exploring AI with the use of alternate data, not just the traditional credit score data, like the credit worthiness of customer data like income and demographic and so on, but they're also exploring data related to related to locations, climate, related events, satellite images, and so on and so forth, for also I think social media presence as well. So I've heard. So that's one area that's actually picking up a bit, especially with AI and AI agents becoming popular in the field of finance. Market risk is where also people are exploring, but I would say market risk is not the most most important area in the field of for banks. Banks are not, at least not all banks are into financial markets too much. For most of the banks, lending is a bigger piece of business than trading asset management. But people are also using, wherever they're using market risk models, they're now exploring the use of AI, especially the trading and asset management firms. They're exploring that. Okay, now coming to trading and investment management, right? You might have heard about BlackRock has its own AI model that is that is coming up with asset allocation, that is coming up with which asset to sell, which asset to buy, which stock to sell, which stock to buy, what would be the portfolio composition. So entire analytics that used to be done by human analysts is now being done by AI agents. Of course, there are human experts reviewing that, scrutinizing that, monitoring the results coming out of the AI agents, but AI is playing a big role there as well, right? Some people are also exploring automation of trading strategies, and end to end, like purely from coming up with the trading strategy, doing back testing, and then taking the decision, executing the trade, everything done by the AI, right? So you don't virtually need a trader. A lot of the problems that can be associated with human traders can then be avoided, such as problems with emotion, behavioral problems, right? And that's very important in the field of trading. By the way, there's not much success out there yet. There's companies which are exploring, no doubt, but not many companies have managed to replace human traders with AI. And then people are using AI for advisory related activities. If you want a personal finance expert, you can take help from different AI agents. I personally have taken many advices from LLM tools, from various tools available, freely available, like ChatGPT, Gemini. They're doing really well. I think if you can build something on top of that, I think for a number of scenarios, you can really replace an AI agent that can provide advisory on portfolio allocation and varieties of activities to the clients without needing an expert. All right, customer experience. Nothing new. I think ever since we have internet, banking and financial service companies have been trying to improve the customer experience through various tools. Almost all banking and financial service organizations nowadays have their own website and mobile app, through which they really want to improve the experience of the customers. In fact, many banks do not have offices, brick and mortar offices anymore. They are like digital first. They really want to improve the digital experience, and that can be done through chatbots and virtual assistants. Well, chatbots are not new; they have been there, but they were not that good actually, right? But with the modern AI that we have, especially in the last 3 years, the LLM models being used for building chat bots, things have improved a lot. I think anybody who is using the chatbot in more recent time would tell you the experience is a lot better now. So making it more personalized is something that many financial service companies are trying to do through AI. It's been tried for a long time now, but AI has now accelerated that process. Then doing automation activities to save costs, to improve profitability of financial service companies. Well, that's been tried for a very, very long time. I remember starting my career in 2008 in the financial service area, and that time even there was a talk of how do we automate a lot of the processes. In 2012, I used to work at a NBFC where we were working towards automating some of the review activities which were done manually, like reviewing the credit files, and how do we build machine learning models to automate that. But that was already back like 12 years back. Now with the recent technology, or the availability of the recent technology, especially AI, that is a lot easier to do than what it used to be 10, 12 years back. So there's a lot of effort being made now to automate the mundane activities happening in the field of financial service. For example, if an analyst is reviewing the files, the information provided by the client, that can well be automated using an AI, and the AI will do an amazing job on that. Reconciliation related activities, not the most interesting piece of work, right? Not many people would like to work in transaction reconciliation, so that can be easily automated, and then you can save a lot of cost, right? And that's what companies have been doing for a very long time, for last 2 decades, I would say. But more recently, especially the last few years, that's had there is a speed up, and more companies doing, and in fact, to be honest, a lot of people working in this field are losing their jobs now. Okay, compliance is one area where AI is playing a massive role, massive role. Some of my former colleagues have started a startup doing exactly this, doing automation on all compliance related activities for banks and financial service companies. So whether it's anti-money laundering checks, whether it's KYC, all these things can be easily automated with AI agents. And this is one area where AI is massively successful. If you see, fintech companies such as Revolut, and you download the app, the entire KYC process is automated. You do not have to go through a manual process, right? There is no analyst sitting on the other side checking your documents. No, everything is so automated, right? Even the traditional banks in Europe, certainly also in other locations, using AI to completely automate the KYC process, right? Credit scoring. I have discussed about it in the first slide, but this is one area where there's a lot of scope, because a lot of the people in the world cannot get access to credit. Only a very tiny percentage of the people can get access to the credit. It's also true for small companies. Many small companies, many freelancers, many small businessmen cannot access credit simply because they do not have credit history, simply because they do not have transaction history, even though they might be credit worthy, right? But how do the banks and financial service company assess their credit worthiness, right? If you look at traditional statistical model used for credit scoring, they use the historical credit data to assess credit worthiness. Now that has got limitations, right? For customers who are new, they were never had any financial transactions in their life, they have never used credit card, they have never saved money in banks. They may be having assets, but this do not have financial assets, they do not participate in those, I mean, they do not have much of history, it's difficult to assess their credit worthiness. So you need an alternate kind of a data to do the assessment, right? And that's where AI will play a big role. So especially for financial inclusion, it's very important that we use AI to assess credit worthiness. Many microfinance service companies in Africa, but also in many countries in Asia, are trying to do that. So, great scope. Fintechs are exploring this. I remember working for a bank where they had an automated credit scoring model where you as a freelancer or a small businessman, can go and get access to credit like up to 50,000 euros automatically, right? So, it's quite possible. Insurance is one where uh, people are exploring the use of AI. Is one area which is very data driven. Decisions are very data driven. So underwriting is a big challenge in the field of insurance, reinsurance, and that's where AI is doing the job. I think this is one area people have been exploring for a very long time. Even 10 years back, I knew that some of the underwriting activities were already being automated through traditional machine learning algorithms. But now with LLMs, it's even easier. So that's one other area where AI is playing a big role. Just to conclude, AI is playing a big role in varieties of areas in the field of financial service. In my view, someone who has worked in finance for over a decade, a number of activities in the field of finance can be easily automated with AI agents. Anywhere you need to review documents or to create documents, AI will be able to automate that, or AI will be able to do it easily without needing any human analyst. And in the field of financial service, a lot of the work is related to verifying documents or just creating documents, right? Risk management is mostly about writing documents, and uh, compliance is mostly about verifying documents. Both these activities can be easily automated, and in the modern finance is primarily risk and compliance. I mean, there are other things, no doubt, but a lot of the activities, the the tough activities or challenging activities are related to risk and compliance, and these area will definitely get disrupted, right? I am not too hopeful about AI disrupting AI trading and asset management. I think that is one area where AI will still be. I mean, you will still be needing human analysts doing a lot of work. Although I've heard people using AI to summarize the annual statements, to summarize quarterly calls results. Great, that will increase the efficiency of a lot of human analysts, but to completely replace human analysts will be really tough in those fields. But certainly in banking and in insurance and NBFCs, I think a lot of the activities can be easily automated. All right, please share your views. Thanks, guys.